Yo, 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 we back like South Crack. We in the building tonight. Once again, it's late night with Sharif, man, and I just wanted to throw that out there. We got that South Carolina Music Festival March 1st. Over 60, 70 artists already signed up, and that's not even including the people that's coming from Charleston in the PD, man. But we here tonight, man, with somebody that I admire from afar, you know what I'm saying? Never really got to meet him up close and personal, but you know what I'm saying? I know his work. I'm gonna let him introduce himself. To my left is
I'm Mossiah Jones, CEO and founder of V12 Worldwide.
V12 Worldwide. So what does that include? That sounds like a few little entities and stuff like that.
Yeah, actually it is. V12 Worldwide is a holding company, and it's an entertainment company. And underneath that subsidiary, we have a few subsidiaries to include V12 Studios, V12 the label, V12 Multimedia, V12 clothing brand, and Sound Bites, which is a food item that we created.
Yeah, I saw the Sound Bites thing the other day. I was like, that's kind of dope. So I'll get into that, man. But let's talk about the thing that a lot of people know about V12 Studios and everything like that, man. When did y'all found that, and when did y'all start that? Because I think everybody's been to V12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going on, this will be our 10th year in business, man. So it started like in 2015. I started, it came about from a prayer, man. I was kind of in between jobs, as you could say, or businesses. I was trying to figure out what my next move was, because initially V12 started off as a club here in South Carolina. And I got out the club industry and was kind of searching for my next move. Wasn't sure. I just didn't want to be in the nightlife anymore. I wanted to make money in the daytime. So I was praying to God, like, yo, God, what's my purpose? Even though I had success in other ventures, but I wasn't happy. So shortly after that prayer, man, he kind of led me to this studio. It was a studio previously called H1. And I had no clue what I was going to do, but, I knew if God put me to it, he was going to bring me through it, man. So, thank God, 10 years later, we the #1 studio in South Carolina.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely the #1 studio in South Carolina. Like, man, what are some of the major artists that have come record there? I've seen some pictures and things like that, but
man, we done had people like KRS-One, OJ the Juice Man, Pastor Troy, Johnny Cinco, Hood Rich Pablo Juan, what's my man name? The producer, forgive me, real big producer from Atlanta. Everybody rock with. It's crazy. Zaytoven. Yeah, Zay. My bad, Zay. And it's a host of other people where I've been really blessed.
Right, to be around some people that's really moving in the industry and things like that. So, owning your own studio, I know you see a lot of local artists and stuff like that. You know what I mean? What kind of I know these people out here working and stuff, trying to, and y'all got quality sound where a lot of people that's just doing it from home and stuff might not have that quality sound. Like, what's the difference? Like, if I'm working from home and just coming into like a studio environment and everything, like, what am I getting that's different?
Oh, well, we spend a lot of money in our equipment. We try to get the top quality equipment. Also, the main thing is our engineers, man. We got engineers who been doing it for a long time. My main engineer is from Los Angeles. His name Alex Reason, and he done worked with artists like Future and Roddy Ricch, Celine Dion. So, he come with a ton of experience, and all of our engineers are certified. So that's what you're getting. You're getting somebody who really understands the business and the sound, the quality. They can bring out your voice, in ways that you probably won't be able to do, you're on your own.
Right. And so we was having a debate like maybe a week or so ago, and with Lisa Gonzalez and another cat from Florence or whatever. We just having this debate. So leading up to being able to come in there and get quality, if you couldn't go and get quality and stuff so say they come to your studio, they can afford a mix, but not a master or whatever like that. I know getting the music mastered is very, very important and everything. But if you couldn't afford that, if you're not right there, would you put out a good mix, or you just wouldn't put it out until it was a finished product?
Me personally, I wouldn't do it because I mean I'm trying to set an example
Right.
to artists. You know, if you're trying to compete with people who really in the industry, you know, that's the things that they're doing. So you don't want to try to skip those steps if you're trying to compete on that level. But be honest, you know, a lot of cats can't afford it and they just put out what they can. And you know, I advise do what you can until you can do what you want.
Right. Right. And that was the point I made. Like I was like, you know, when I couldn't afford it, if I didn't want I wanted music to be heard, but you know what I'm saying. But I get the other point where we gotta put in the quality work and stuff, man. And V12 definitely got quality and everything like that. So on to like the other stuff with V12, man. Like okay, you got the clothing line. I've seen the hoodies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like how does that come about? It's just that you already got the name. And then you already got the name, you just put out the clothing, or does it take a lot of effort and a lot of money and things like that?
Well, I mean, it's just, you know, it's just a part of my business plan, man. You know, when I wrote my business plan out years ago, I always wanted to get into fashion and music and film. So, you know, the studio was a vehicle that allowed me to enter into those other fields. And yeah, you know, the clothing part was, you know, it started off like just merchandising, like just t-shirts, and then we just kind of ventured off into other, you know, other items and articles.
Right.
And you know, people really rock with the logo. They rock with the brand, and you know, they really proud to wear it. You know, and I'm proud that they support us like that, man. So it wasn't. I can't say it was a hard transition. It was just, you know, throwing that logo on with everything you can, you know, to promote it. It's really promotional for me.
And that's what I was going to ask you, like, how important is merch for the artist, you know?
I think that's very important, man. And, you know, as an artist, we don't have but so many cost centers and ways to make money. So you got to try to capitalize on all areas and avenues that you can to get your brand out there. And that's the main thing about it. It's like, if you enter into music, you're not just pushing music, you're pushing a brand, you're pushing, you know, an idea, a character, and that's what people want to buy into. So, you know, the more you have to offer them, the more you can get that name out there.
Right. So, what do you think, you know, about, you know, you've been around Columbia a while.
Yeah.
First off, you know what I'm saying, I didn't get to, you know, ask you the questions that everybody else asked, because I was just so excited just to ask you about the music side and the studio side of things, because those are things that I kind of do and kind of interested in and things like that. But I didn't get to ask. I didn't ask. You know, who is Mossiah? Like, you know, where you from? You know what I mean? Like, you know,
Okay.
how long you been in Columbia, or you from Columbia? You know?
Oh yeah. Well, my real name is Moses. So I grew up in a small town in South Carolina, Estill, South Carolina. Little area called Furman, which is outside of the town of Estill. You know, country boy, man. I grew up, you know, down a dirt road, and in that country, you know, I just had big dreams, and I wanted to pursue those dreams, and you know, wasn't able to do that in the country, so I had to come to the city, you know, and the biggest city in South Carolina was Columbia, so I came up here to go to school. I went to USC.
All right.
You know, I got a degree in psychology. And, you know, a lot of people ask me, why you did psychology? Why you didn't do business? Well, it's because psychology is the study of human behavior. And we do business with humans. So if I understand how they think, I can know how to sell to them. So that was, you know, the purpose of that. And like I said, I came up here for college and just loved the city. And I just stayed here, man. You know, in college, I joined a fraternity. And in the fraternity, that's when I kind of found my passion and love for promotions and marketing, you know. So I started my career off as a promoter, promoting parties, events, step shows, car shows, things like that. And then that ventured off into, I was able to procure a club, and it was called Y2K, you know. And that was the club that's when I really, you know, found my calling. And that just led to my next club, which was V12.
Right.
And I was able to get that club, and it was in the Vista, one of the first African American upscale, spots in the Vista. And we had a great run, and I met a lot of people there, and I just made a name for myself, and I just was around, just stayed around here.
Right. How does a African American, survive in the Vista club in the Vista, with all the elements that come with the Vista? And I imagine when you had the club in the Vista, you had Wet Willies and all that was kind of surrounding you and stuff like that. How do you survive doing that?
Well, I mean, my goal has always been to do what's not being done. I try to bring something different to the city, and add that. I always wanted to add that level of class to the city. So, because I cater to an upscale crowd, I was really welcomed in the Vista, man. I had all sorts of celebrities and, movers and shakers in the city coming through.
Right.
This place right here is like many places, man. It's not about what you know, it's who you know. Mm-hmm. So I was able to meet a lot of people who really had some influence in the city, and it made my stay, worthwhile.
Man, that's cool. That's cool. So, man, you know what I'm saying? You said you was from Esther, South Carolina.
Yeah.
I know a little bit about Esther, South Carolina.
Oh, really?
Just a little bit.
Okay.
Not a whole lot. My brother went with a girl down there, so we was just kind of dipping down there for weekends and stuff like that.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, but what I do know about Esther is that, so, you came to Columbia, why not Savannah? Because they got a music scene,
Well, Savannah's Georgia, what I mean? Like, I'm a South Carolina boy, man, so I wanted to, really rep my state. I always felt like South Carolina was underlooked, underappreciated, and I wanted to be one of the people that brought, something positive to the city, add something positive, and I wanted to change the narrative, like everybody think we country and we slow, we backwoods, and yeah, I'm none of those things, So, I'm from South Carolina, so you can't say we all are that. Right. So I wanted to show them something different, man.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So how do you get from club owner, studio music mogul, and then how you get into the food, and what are the bites that you're selling right now?
Okay. The transition was simple, man. You just got to learn how to reinvent yourself. Mm-hmm. You can't stay the same. Even if something working, man, you have to still try to stay ahead of the curve and always try to be innovative and, try to set trends. So that's how it was. It's just natural progression, moving into different areas, but within the same industry, And the sound bites came about out of necessity, really like I always say, if you can find a solution to a problem, then you're going to make some money. And the issue we was having, when I first opened up the studio, we used to sell snacks, and I had a vending machine, and, people get some snacks and drinks, but they wanted something hot, and I remember it was a time like when egg rolls was a big thing in the city. Everybody was talking about egg rolls, and I tried a lot of them out. I was like, I wasn't impressed.
Right.
So I was like, I know I can make a better egg roll, by the way I can cook, growing up in the country, I learned to cook. And I was like, I can make a better egg roll, but again, I want to be a trendsetter. I don't want to do what everybody was doing. So because everybody doing egg roll, let me find something that's, kind of in the same vein, but it's different. And I had one of my artists, he was of Hispanic descent. He was Panamanian and black. So while we was talking about trying to figure out what we're going to do, he was like, what about the empanada? And I was like, yeah, I knew what empanadas was. I was familiar with it. And I'm like, all right, yeah, we can do that. So we made a version of it, but then it was like a big hand pie, and it was like, I want to do something different. So I made a mini version, and I was like, it's bite size, it's mess free, it's not messy, you don't need no utensils to eat it, and it's a quick filling snack, and that's where Sound Bites came about. I came up with a name.
That's a good name, yeah.
Yeah, because at first I was like, I can't just sell this food, and people don't know me for food, so why would they just accept that? Yeah. But if I could make it relative to the business, then it's not like me venturing off to something totally different. So I kind of made sure it fit with the business, and I gave it that name, Soundbite. So it's, it's coming from the studio, and I was like, I make this for creators on the go.
Right, it couldn't be V12 snacks or nothing like that. So it was good to have a
had this make it its own identity.
Right, separate from everything.
Separate from everything, yeah.
That's cool. And then you do get hungry in the studio.
Right, people get hungry, and I don't want them to have to stop this session to go try to order or get somebody to DoorDash some food in.
Right.
Like keep them focused on what they doing. They can keep rolling. Man, let me get some of those. They order, boom, we gonna make them. And they can, fill their stomachs and continue to be creating. So it just worked out. It was just something that worked out of necessity. And I mean, I originally made them, specifically, exclusively for the studio, but other people started getting on it because, we marketed, we put it out there and other people was interested in it. And so, we had people who wasn't even having to do with music. Hey, I want to try these. And it just kind of went like from there, man. So just thankful that, my ideas and my concepts are accepted, and they work. So, I'm just thankful for that.
You do your own marketing, or do you have to hire some people to do that kind of stuff when you got such a big company and everything?
Yeah, honestly, man, we self-contained. We look big, but it's a small amount of people who behind the scenes making all this thing happen, man. And I have to be a part of everything that goes out. So I couldn't put my marketing and promotions in somebody else's hands because, I had to be, make sure that I'm signing off on everything. And so I just do a lot of stuff myself, man. I do a lot of the graphics, you see, the videos you see. I had to learn these things, man, learn these things. And I'm glad I did, especially picking up the camera, man. I mean, our multimedia company has been one of my greatest pleasures, just having an idea and seeing it come to light.
Have y'all done any films, documentaries, anything out there yet?
Yeah, we put out a docu-series type mini movie. It's called Outside the Booth. And when I had my first round of artists, we went on a promo tour. And this was during like the COVID period as well. We was doing shows in Florida and all over Georgia and all over. And we just, I hired a videographer to just film everything. So there was one leg of the tour that we was on where we performed during the All-Star Weekend in Atlanta. And it was at the King of Diamonds. So we kind of just showed us getting ready, prepared. I have an RV. We rode on a 45-foot luxury RV. I just wanted to look the part. Like if I say I'm coming out, I'm a label. I wanted to look like a label and not just a struggling local label. I wanted to look like one of the biggest labels in the world, man. That's what I was doing, and we played that role. We looked the part, and we was accepted as such. But the movie was about us getting ready, preparing, things that goes on behind the scenes when preparing for a show. We go into Atlanta. That was the first time that I got a jeweler to do a logo of to do a charm of the logo. And we went to Atlanta. We picked up the charm for the first time there, and then we went and performed at the King of Diamonds. It's grand opening, All-Star Weekend, like 4,000 people in there, 2 Chainz, Jeezy in there, Rick Ross. We in there with them, and we was the only artists to perform on that stage that night.
Wow.
So we like the first artist to perform at the King of Diamonds ever. So, we made history.
Story, yeah.
Yeah, and we documented that, and that's on now. It's on YouTube. It's called Outside the Booth.
Outside the Booth.
Yeah.
Check that out.
Yeah, thanks.
And apparently that he liked it a little spicier. So.
Oh, so he had like a little fetish.
So did he let you down or you let him down?
He kind of did it. He kind of ghosted me a little bit.
That's real.
Yeah. He ghosted me.
How you felt about that?
Who ghosts is Naisha?
That's what I was asking. How you felt about what's the ideal
both.
date for you?
Well, if you watched the episode,
You would know that. That's one.
Gee, that's a question.
That was a question we already asked.
What's the worst date you been on then? The worst
date.
Yeah.
the worst date I was on, dude took me to McDonald's and
Wow.
was just
No,
like,
how old were you?
This was it was younger.
So I'm gonna get back to the music a little bit, man. Man, so you got a label or whatever. How many people you got signed to that?
6.
Got 6 people signed to that.
Mm-hmm.
Are y'all looking for any other talent, or y'all just want to grow the 6 that y'all got? Or y'all?
Well,
I see you on the scene.
I don't. You know, that's the thing. Like when I started the label, it wasn't for the purpose of just seeking talent. I was really using it as a way to promote our sound and promote our company. So the artists were really like brand ambassadors more so than anything, and they actually was working at the studio. They was like engineers,
Right.
that in their downtime they making music.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, I hear all y'all music, and I know everybody want me to work with them. So let's do this. Let's put it all together. And we put out a compilation album, which we entitled it "Flood the City," and we had a series of those. And I was like, whatever artist peaks, then that'll be the artist that I work with, you know, exclusively. And so that's how that all came about. So it really wasn't like your traditional record label where we just go out seeking talent. It's just another way to promote the brand.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Got you. That's what's up. So I mean, I see you out and about sometimes. They got seems like this. You've been around a while. It seems like this, in my day, is like the second wave of independent artists coming through, and like a lot of people like focusing on open mics and doing like how we doing little festivals, little events and stuff like that. Have you been able to, peep out the local? I know you're busy, man, but have you been able to peep out the local scene and anything, like the local independent artists and things? I know I saw you at a stream for one of the local nights. I think you and Young LA was in there or something.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. I try to, man. I try to keep my ears to the ground and stay involved as much as I can with the scene. I'm happy with the way it's going, the way it's growing, and yeah, I see. If you're working, I'm gonna see you.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing about it. Like even with the artists that come up to me saying they dope, I've never heard one say they was whack. Right. So everybody think they're dope, but does other people think you're dope? Like you know what I mean? And that what I want somebody like, yo, you gotta listen to this, yo, I'm bust, you know what I mean? Like that's how I really receive music. I don't receive like nobody really wants to receive music. It's forced on us. You know what I mean? Or it's introduced to us. That's how I get on artists, and I like to get on artists that people not talking about, like some the underground artists. That's who I be checking for. I'm looking for the next great, and so that's why I stay involved. I stay, on social media, searching and seeing what's going on. When there's an event going on, if I'm invited, I'm coming. If I'm not invited, I don't like to, I don't go nowhere I'm not invited. So if somebody, reach out to me, I try my best to make it out there, just to show my face and just show some support. That's how I gotta go. Like I can't expect people to just support me and I don't support them back. So anywhere I can, it's just a part of it. It's my duty. So yeah.
Yeah, before we go any further, man, you invited to March
March 1st,
March 1st,
no doubt.
You want to go walk through or something like that,
like,
man.
If I'm, a lot of people ask me to be judges or something like that.
That too.
Yeah, like I have no problem with that, man. I'm honored to do that, bro. Like I'm just honored that people even view me in those, that kind of light, that they value my opinion. So, I'm thankful and I'm here to serve, bro.
Right. So when you first, obviously you're in the music, you have a studio and everything, and just being in a small studio myself, sometimes, you hear a lot of music, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, what do you think, what's the South Carolina sound like, you know what I mean? What is that to you? You know what I mean? Like, do we have a sound yet, or are we still searching for a sound?
I mean, I always say this, man. Like, I look at South Carolina as kind of like one of those places where it's so diverse. You know, like, I'm from South Carolina. I'm not sure if you're from South Carolina.
I am, yeah.
You know, but if you listen to our dialects, bro, we don't sound alike. Like, you can get a person from Charleston, you get a person from the upstate, somebody from the Midlands, somebody from the PD area. We all sound different. You know what I mean? And that's just it's just basically because we're from a real melting pot, man. Everybody started off here like at one point. You know, South Carolina got so much history. At one point, it was like 98% of all African Americans lived in South Carolina.
Right.
So people from here, they migrated outward. That's why you can go to places like St. Louis or New York. They got a sound. I always say that's a family from South Carolina. They left here, went to New York, pitched their tent there. They sound like that. That's why New York sound like where it sounds like, and Texas sound like. These people everybody came from South Carolina.
Right.
From the South. Let's be real. And we're not going to have a sound because there's no one predominant sound here.
You make a good point.
And
I
so
never heard that point.
Yeah,
like
so it's not going to be, oh, you sound like you from South. I've been all over the country. I've been all over different parts of the world. Nobody say, oh, man, you sound like you from South Carolina. But I'm from South Carolina.
Right.
You can't detect a sound. You know what I mean? We're just universal.
Right.
And we have to embrace that, man. Like, we all sound different here. There's no one sound. Nobody going to dictate how we sound. It's just not going to happen. That's why we don't have one.
Right. Man, that's a good point. Shoot, I never heard that one before. I've been asking that question for a year now. So another thing, so being in South Carolina, a lot of people, like a lot of artists you talk to, don't feel like they got the opportunities here. And I feel like they got an opportunity here, but they don't feel like they got an opportunity here. And like a lot of reasons, as they say, it's just not unified. It's a lot of this, it's a lot of that. Do you feel that way about South Carolina music, or you feel like, you know, because I always use this point, it's 52 years. I know hip hop goes all the way back to slavery, but it's 52 years documented that it's been a hip hop, you know, culture or whatever, 52 years now.
Right.
And I can't say that, you know, I mean, we have had some good artists and some breakthrough artists, but I never could remember like a rapper from South Carolina like being on BET Awards or the Grammys or any kind of large stage. Right. Is there a reason behind that, or is it just, you know, it just ain't our turn, or it's just like,
Yeah, I feel there is a reason behind that, man. Like, you know, going back to the Bible, you know, it says in the word that the first shall be last and the last shall be first. So we the last to do it, but we will one day be the first. We will get to that point, you know what I mean? That's all it is. It's like, we just haven't produced that song yet.
Right.
Let's just be real. When we make that song that's undeniable, it don't matter where you from.
Right.
But fuck Texas, if your song is hot and people really feeling it, it doesn't matter where you from. And I just think that, you know, we make a lot of good music, but we just haven't made that great song yet. And once that's made, then, you know.
You think that's Blue Devils?
No.
No.
Okay. No, I don't think that is it. Because, you know, if it is, we wouldn't be thinking it is. It
is. Yeah, it is. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, it'll be is. Like, you know, I don't take nothing away from them. I respect what he got going on, what he's doing. But, you know, it's just not that. It's not it. Until you hear that playing it from everybody playing it and rocking with it, you know, I just don't think that is. Because if it is, it would have been it.
I think Lil Rue had one. But
definitely. He definitely had one. Definitely, right. I got to take that back. He did. Yeah. He did have one. Still got one. It's just the way it came out about. You know what I mean? And he just wasn't able to take advantage of it too. Right. So I think a lot of the business part of it too has a lot to do with it. You know, we wasn't on our business properly, and I think that's what we need to focus on, because it's the music business, not just music. It's 10% music, 90% business. I think it's 5% now, but
Right.
you know, it's a very low amount. So you could be Michael Jackson. It don't matter if your business ain't right. It's not gonna go,
not gonna go.
where it need to go. So
Right.
I think that part of it, man. And, you know, unfortunately, we didn't have a lot of executives that you know frequented this area, so we was not able to obtain the knowledge. So we had to, you know, as it progresses, you know, things are being more exposed, and we getting people like myself who's focused on the business part of it. So that's gonna help with us, you know, getting out there and getting, you know, the most out of the music.
Right. So what is Mossiah's? I'm saying that right, Mossiah.
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 Yeah.
Yeah. Who are your, like, you know, influences coming up? Like, who are your favorite rappers coming up?
You know, I grew
Or
up.
musicians, period. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I grew up on people like, you know, Outkast and UGK, DMX, you know, people like that. I mean, I was, you know, heavily influenced by, you know, people like Dame Dash and, you know, Master P, Baby. Like, I saw those types of people, Suge Knight, and how they moved, you know. So there was, you know, some of my influences, you know.
And you know, that's a good thing. 'Cause you know, we usually ask people like 10 questions and stuff like that, and we may ask them, you know, either or you know what I mean. But you just mentioned Dame Dash, and you being a businessman. I wonder what your take is on Dame Dash, him being like an influence to you. What do you think? You know, what do you think about him right now?
Well, currently, like him today,
yeah.
I'm kind of disappointed because him being a businessman and a music mogul, you know, it's sad that his career was really tied to one artist. You know, and I think that's where I think he made a mistake focusing so much on one artist, even though I know that artist was not your average artist. But for him to kind of have to take a back seat to an artist when he was the business, it's just unfortunate, man. And, you know, it's like he can't form his own way right now. It's like he's still tied into, you know, everything is about Jay-Z. Every interview, he still got to talk about Jay-Z. Like, I just think that's a terrible existence, man. You know, like, I done work with a lot of artists, man, but no artist ever made me. I will not let that happen. I know I made them.
Right.
And if you made him, you got to make another him. He keep telling you that, man. Make another him. And he never focused on that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what disappointed me, because for him to be in the position he's in now and the ridicule he has to endure, it's kind of sad.
Right. I think as time goes by, like, you know what I mean, when the breakup first happened, you just like, oh man, Jay's doing Dame wrong. But I think as more interviews that he does, the more time that goes by, you see what Jay
had no choice.
Probably
you know?
was seeing, you know what I mean?
Yeah. He saw the error in his ways, and he just, you know, made a business decision, you know. And you know, Dame, you have to learn from your mistakes.
Right.
You know, and move on, not embrace them and just hold on to them, you know, to your detriment. That's you know, we all make mistakes, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, you live and you learn and you keep moving on, you keep building. So the fact that he couldn't rebuild himself and his brand, or, you know, another brand like that, like I said, it's just kind of sad, but that's the story. That's his story, you know.
Life.
Yeah.
So, you know, I had a guy, it's a young African-American black guy, you know what I'm saying, that runs a successful business on Divine Street, and the restaurant.
Okay.
And I asked him, you know what I mean, you know, how hard it was, because he's young, and he just seems like the outgoing person that everybody loves. You know what I mean? So I asked him how hard was it like to fire somebody. So, you know what I mean, we was just talking about Dame, you know, you being a boss, man.
Right.
How hard is it like you know what I mean? Is it hard for you to let go, you know, somebody that you was in the trenches with before, but now you know, it's business and stuff like that? And,
oh yeah. You know, you have a heart, you know what I'm saying? And that's always been a hard thing, but you got to understand why you there. And your purpose is to do what's best for the business. And when you think of it like that, like if this person's not good for business or this person's detrimental to the brand, then you got no choice. You know what I mean? Like you got to cut that cancer off, no matter how hard it is. You know, and yeah, it's not an easy thing because we're not heartless people. But at the end of the day, man, you know, you got to make the best decision for the company.
Got to make the best decision for the company.
Right.
That's what's up.
He's one of the best scientific minds we have today.
Out for the Low Bail Bonding. Out for the Low Bail Bonding has been in the community for over 5 years. We don't just bond our people out, we love our clients. We want to see our clients grow from a bad situation, and we're not in a rush to revoke your bond. We're here to help our clients through the pretrial process. We love our community and put back when others just want to monetize. Out for the Low Bail Bonding in Richland, Lexington, Horry, Florence, and also servicing Orangeburg, Saluda, and other surrounding communities. If you need our services, please call Mr. Wally Sharif at 803-351-7785.
So I ain't gonna hold you up too much, man, too much longer. First I want you to, y'all got any events, anything going on you want to shout out? I saw you put up a poster for Drew Hill.
Yeah, man. We got the Drew Hill and Lloyd pre-Valentine's up close and personal concert coming up next week, February 13th. You know, if you're available, come out, chill. It's kind of different. This whole thing is different. It's a dinner, a concert, and an after party all in one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where's that? Where's that?
South Carolina State Fairgrounds.
Okay.
We got buildings. We're not outside. A lot of people think, "What, you outside?" Nah. There's buildings on the South Carolina State Fairgrounds, and we in the Canty building.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, that's cool, man. And they're coming with. Do they have some opening acts coming with Drew Hill?
No, they not. Drew Hill they not having any open acts, but we all are taking. We got some slots available for anybody who want to showcase their talents in front of a great crowd, in front of a legendary band. So there's some few slots available, and you just contact us for information on that.
Right. I think I read somewhere that like on their 25th anniversary.
Right. It's their 25th anniversary.
That's
yeah.
big, man. We think they fit in like R&B, like most R&B groups.
Yeah, I say they legends, bro.
Right.
Like, what Cisco's done with the Thong song is, that's a classic song. And True Hill, they just come from that era when R&B was dominant, and it's just great to be able to see artists can have such a lasting career, man, and still tour and still captivate audiences, man, over 25 years. So it just lets you know that, like, yeah, you can really have a great career in this music thing once you find your niche, And
if your paperwork right, your publishing and all that stuff right, you can perform these songs into your 60s and stuff.
Right. Look at God Bless the Dead, Frankie Beverly, man.
Man.
How long he toured at a high level, man.
Right.
Making 6 figures a show for years, man. And that's why I say I just want artists to focus on making a hit song, not just something cool and trendy. And a lot of guys come in the studio and they just off the dome it. They punch in, and I just feel like you get out of it what you put into it. If you don't put into it, then how's it gonna last? I kind of like compare it to cooking. Do you want to have something that's made fast, or you want something that's slow cooked? what you think gonna be appreciated more. So put more into your songwriting and your, you know, because now like when artists started talking about they don't write, and you know that just made people feel like they don't want to have to write. But you know, to write a classic, to create a classic, man, it's gonna take a little bit of thought in preparation. So you got to really go into it with, I'm coming to make a hit. There's a science to it. There's a formula to making a hit. And when we start focusing in our music on hit making, not just good music making, I think we're going to be okay. And I mean, when South Carolina do get a chance to kick that door open, and just like how Atlanta had it for such a long time, how New York had it for a long time, how the West had it for a long time, we're going to have an onslaught of artists that comes out from all over, because the talent is here. Like we got the talent is definitely here. We just got to cultivate it. You know, we're an agriculturist state. We got to grow that.
And I always like to tell people, man, hey, you know, y'all run to Atlanta, y'all run to Memphis, y'all run to whatever, man. They don't owe you nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, shoot, you might as well stay here and try to build it here. You know what I mean? Right
now, the industry is not in no one particular place no more. You know, it's not even in Atlanta no more. When the last time you heard of a upcoming Atlanta artist?
No, that's true.
So it's not happening there no more. You know,
it's slowing down.
Yeah, it's not. So you can't run to no place, because if you don't have what it takes, it don't matter where you at. You know, and unfortunately, you got to be real. Everybody ain't a star.
Right.
Just because you can't rap don't mean that you're going to be rapping on the biggest stages and you're going to be great out of it, you know? It's like becoming a big celebrity. You got, your chances are better getting struck by lightning.
Right.
So it's not like a lot of people going to have that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? And that's just being real. Everybody can have the chance, but you know, are you really the one?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Does everybody look at you like you're the one? Because you have to be it before you become it. You're a doctor before you become a doctor, you know? You don't like blood, you're not going to be good in being a doctor. So if you really don't like performing and working, because this is a job. I mean, I don't know why people think this is an escape from work. You really work harder in this business. Like, I have no time off. You know what I'm saying? I'm always working because I don't want nobody to take my spot. So you got to outwork everybody, and you got to do what the other people not doing. So that's my advice for these artists, man. Don't come in here if you want to. But if you're lazy and you don't want to work hard, you don't want to do things that's uncomfortable, you just want all the glitz and glam, and don't come in initially, man. You know, so I just say do it. You got to do it for the love, man. Do it because that's what you was naturally born to do.
Right. When you were speaking right there, kind of. So my mom was a guidance counselor, so she was just always, you know, counseling and things like that. Now I find myself always counseling and stuff, but you know what I mean, you actually have a degree in it, you know what I mean? So I know, you know what I mean, just, you know, being around artists the last 3-4 years myself, I know like mental health is like real.
It's big.
Like it's bad, like in like the hip hop culture, you know what I mean? Especially the independent world. I don't know. Is it just like, because you just said something that made me think about that, was like, you was just like, you know, you got a better chance of getting struck by lightning, but a lot of the artists that's in South Carolina are putting like everything they got into it. Like, you know what I mean? They having problems with their girls because they out, you know, trying to make this thing work, and you know what I mean? And then at some point, you know what I mean, they're not mentally strong enough to be handling all of that and stuff like that. So, you know what I mean? How important is it for the artists to, you know, take care of their mental health? You know what I mean? What's your advice towards somebody, you know, taking care, you know what I mean, that, you know, their mentals first, you know, and also, you know, putting that first and, you know.
Well, yeah, you know, that's very important. Mental health is very important. I mean, if you're not, you know, well in the head, then it's going to affect the body and everything that's around you. So, you know, again, that's why I say, man, do it because you love to do it, not because you feel like you're, you know, you have to or you pressure to, you know. And you got to understand there's a balance you got to have. Even every artist, they have that's why they got a moniker. You know, Cisco real name ain't Cisco. So he got to understand how to separate the artist and that life from the personal in that life. So it's the balance. You got to just make sure you're doing what you need to do at home and taking care of what you got to take care of at work. You know, it's a job, it's work. And, you know, I believe you do got to put your all into it. You got to pretty much go broke. That's why they call them starving artists. You know, we got to, it's no money initially.
Right.
You got to put the money into it. But what I also say is like myself, like I realized, I grew up in the church, singing in the church, you know, when I was a kid. But I realized early on, I'm not cut out to be, you know, a performing artist. You know what I'm saying? Everybody sound good as a kid, but when you get older, then the reality struck. But I still love music,
right?
And I still love being in this game, in this industry. So I had to find my way, right. And that's the thing. There's so many other avenues in music that you don't have to just be stuck being an artist.
Right.
So if you really love music and you really still want to, because I've been in backstages and I've dealt with more, I've met more artists not trying to be an artist.
Right.
So there's still hope. If the music part don't work, you still can be in music and make a great living. A lot of people behind the scenes are really the ones making the money.
Right.
So once you discover that, you might be great at videography, great at graphic design, great at audio engineering, or, you know, live sound. You know, it's just so many different avenues that you can take outside of performing artists. So, you know, it's still hope that you still can be in this game, man, you know, and get to great levels too.
I tell some of the younger people, young men that I come across that's in the rap game, and you know what I mean, I tell them, you know what I mean, I just say, hey, it's the Stephen A. Smith effect, you know what I mean? Right. Like he played ball, pretty good in high school, went to college, only could, you know, average 2 points a game, you know what I mean? And they always, like, when he critiqued somebody, you know what I mean? And I'm not the biggest Stephen A. Smith fan. He back and forth with him, but he knows basketball. So, you know what I mean? So, you know, he knows basketball. He loves basketball. He loved to play, but, you know, you average 2 points a game in college is not for you.
Right.
So he found a way to talk about basketball, and they were picking at him saying, hey, you critiquing me, man. You average 2 points a game, and now, you know, he got the 20 mil, you know what I mean, a year.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it was that why now he making more money than some of the players that he was, you know, critiquing and stuff like that. So
yeah, and that's
another way.
That's an example, but then there's also the side like you got Shannon Sharp, who was a great football player. Right. But that has a ceiling, you know what I mean? You can't play forever. So even after a great career, you still got to figure out what I'm going to do next.
Yeah, right.
You know, and that's why you got to always have your options open. You got to always continue to educate yourself and seek other avenues, you know, and because what happens after that career, even if it's a great, illustrious career, you still got life to live and you still want to make, you know, you want to be great, you know, so it can go both ways, man. You just got to, like I say, you always got to keep reinventing yourself. You got to keep educating yourself, learning, growing, because if you want to be around, you want to be relevant. You got to be relevant in more than just one area.
When I was out in the streets, we was out in the streets selling CDs out of trunk.
Yes, sir.
I have him in the car with me. He be in the car with me. And then one time we was at the gas station off of Broadway Road by the highway, and I was out, you know, slanging CDs or whatever. He reached in the box of CDs and grabbed a handful of CDs. He was like 2 years old. And leaned out the window. I was driving a 6'3" Nova then. He leaned out the window with a bunch of CDs in his hand, and he was like, hey, my daddy got CDs. My daddy got CDs. Hey, that little nigga like, yo, my daddy got CDs. Come get some of these CDs.
My daddy got music.
Hey, listen to what you gotta say,
bro.
Okay?
And like, I be
them clientele,
bro. He coming off the top of his head in the back seat, like 3-4 years old. Talking about like, I'm in my car seat.
Right. I appreciate your time and everything, man. And man, I could tell you this, you know what I mean? We're probably about on what, episode 100 by now? I know you don't like for me to say what episode I am, but I may have I may be close to 100.
Okay, hey, congratulations,
right, man.
Bro.
I appreciate
anything, bro. That's great.
But I said that to say this is that out of all those 100 interviews, like I'm pretty, you know, I've been around, you know what I mean? Like even if nobody never seen me or this and that, you know what I mean? I run a bond company. I know a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I do music, been around music my whole life. I've been around music. So, you know what I mean? My stepfather's a jazz musician. My dad ran clubs in Atlanta. You know what I mean? And so I know it's not too many things that people can tell me and that could wow me. Like I haven't really been wowed. Like just doing this is just more informative. I want people to get what they got going on out there, you know what I mean? Right. But I can honestly say, I mean, I've probably only been wowed like by 3 of these interviews. You just wowed me. Like I learned so much. I think the other person may have been Lisa, you know what I mean? Because she was talking more about, you know, how to do social media, something that you know, I get on it, but something that I'm not good at it. But so I was wowed by the things that she was saying. Right. But I was really wowed by this interview. Like it was like really, really, really informative. You know what I'm saying? So man, I'm glad you came by, man, and took time to talk to us, man. But I did just want to ask 3 last questions, man, and we can roll. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So you know, everybody does top 5, top 10, and all that, man. I do top 3s. You know what I mean? What's your 3 favorite hip hop artists?
3 favorite hip hop artists.
Your top 3.
You know, I would say in no particular order. Like I said, Outkast. You know, that's not an artist, but they're a group that, you know, really had a lot of impact on my life. Just love what they was doing and why they was doing it. You know, remember them saying at I think it was the Source Awards when we wasn't getting no kind of, like the South that is, wasn't getting no kind of recognition in the game because it was so dominated by the North. And they was like, hey, the South got something to say, and, you know, and that made a very big impact.
It's a big quote.
Yeah, it was a big quote at the time because it wasn't a cool thing at the time. So
be from the South.
Yeah, so I looked at them as pioneers, you know, Outkast, somebody more recent, Drake. You know, a lot of people giving Drake a lot of hell right now with the Kendrick thing.
Yeah.
But we can't take nothing away from Drake, man. He makes some dope music, and you know he's never missed. Even though he didn't win the
good songs
the battle, he didn't win the battle because Buddy had just a greater song.
Yeah,
you know, and it really was because of that beat, that mustard beat. Like it's like I'm in here crip walking all the time. So you know he won that battle. Well, he won the war for that. But far as just discography, Drake got a lot of great songs for a long period of time, so I have to give him that. And lastly, I'll say, wow, it's a good one. Favorite, because I love music, man.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't just have favorites. I just love music, and I just love the art of it all. So, I'm a fan of anybody making noise. But if just to say something to fill out the list, I'll say lastly, it's a good question, man. And I don't just say something to say something, but I'll have to say DMX. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I have to, because for him to put out 2 albums that go #1 in the same year, and him being such a spiritual person, I think he had a real big impact on me, and he's one of my favorites.
Yeah, and I've never seen anybody be successful at anything. I'm pretty successful as a bond company, but I watched somebody else do it before I could do it. So I'm gonna go studio because it's South Carolina's best. I'm gonna go top 3 studios. I'm gonna go V12. You give me 2 other studios that that you've seen and that you've been to, and throughout your travels that you
I gotta say Twin D, 21st Century Studios in Charleston. I've seen him, he was doing the studio thing before me, and to be doing it for so long and being a staple in his city, he's a pioneer as well. So, I think I just recently visited his studio and see the transformation, because I remember going in there, it was like storefront, and it was, it wasn't the best setup, but now he got an awesome setup. The place looked beautiful, and he's just somebody I look up to. 21st Century, and I gotta say Quantum Beats still. I'm friends with AJ. We was able to we was all on a Zoom call last year. Was Fat Rat Desire from Jam Room, AJ from Quantum Beats in the audio box, Irv Johnson, who's from Columbia Mastering. So we had some people that I always looked up to. And but I gotta say Quantum Beats, because when I came in the game, they was dominating. They had the game on lock. And that's one thing. When I came in, I was like, man, how can I compete with these guys? The Jam Room been around so long. It was historic, legendary studio, even though it was more on the rock white side, but they still was a big major player. Then you had the Quantum Beats, who had the great name, and all the artists that used to go through there. They had all the engineers was working for them. And then you also had Strawberry Skies, which is another $1 million.
West Columbia.
$1 million setup, and they had a beautiful facility. And I was like, man, how can I compete with these guys?
Right.
And I realized, only thing I could do is be me and do what I do best. And that's also make sure that the client had a great customer experience. And that's what I did, because I felt like my experience going to studios, because I work with artists and I used to go to studios, I just didn't like that experience, like get in, get out, it just wasn't welcoming. Right. So I wanted to create an environment that was welcoming, that was homely, and comfortable. And I wanted to make sure that everybody walked away smiling, man. And then, that what gave me my edge and kept me around as long as I've been around.
Right. Three most difficult. Well, I don't want to say difficult. 3 obstacles in running an empire. What are the 3 biggest obstacles?
Finding the right people to buy into your vision and want to see you make it. A lot of people want to come in, but they want to really, really compete and take your spot. You know what I'm saying? So you got to look out for those type of people who will come in and use your resources and use your name and to try to build their own thing. I had to deal with that, with a lot of people coming around pretending to be like a part of the team, but they really truly was trying to build their own thing. So, that's one major thing, is just finding the right people. And of course, in any business, resources, funding, having, coming up with the money to put your vision out there. That's always been something difficult. I've never had a partner. It didn't come in the game rich. So, I had to just take every dollar and turn it into 2 and then make it 4 and then reinvest in the business too. So that's what took a little time. In this music, in the recording business, it's just staying on top of like equipment. Everything changes all the time. Like you can quickly be outdated with your software, your computer. They always making something new, and just staying, on top of that, man. Trying to have the latest and greatest things. It's difficult because these things are costly.
Yeah, so, that's what me and him experienced.
Equipment is costly, so that could become something something difficult you run into.
All right, so I've been to Y2K. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I can't remember if I've been to V12. Now Y2K, let me make sure that's Broad River.
Broad River Road.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
I lived on
remember they had the VIP booths against the wall.
Right.
Walk in there, just TVs.
I've been to Y2K a few times. I was living on Broad River when Y2K. I think Y'all were open like in 2000, 2001?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
why I was Y2K.
That's why it was Y2K,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was booming. Yeah, that whole Broad River was booming. And
We changed it to the river. That's why it's the river to this day. It was Broad River. You know what I mean? We changed it to the river. Yeah.
So give me, I know you had 2 classic clubs already, because anything in the Vista and it's black owned, I know that was dope.
Yeah,
I can't remember, man. I think I might have still been going through my 5 Point stages or something like that. But I'm a clubber. I'm out everywhere every night. I'm doing better, but but it's been years and years, and I ain't never gave it up. But so give me 3 classic clubs in Columbia. Your top 3 classic clubs besides the 2
ones
classics that you had. Yeah.
I would say Banana Joe's was one for downtown. Elements was one, and let's see. Because I really was in the game. I really wasn't a party goer.
Yeah,
I was party thrower.
The party thrower.
Yeah, so
big difference.
Yeah, I really didn't. I'm not the one to be in the club popping bottles,
making money and losing money.
Yeah,
I wish I could have some of my money.
You know, when you're in the industry, you know what it is.
Right.
You know, and I just never, that wasn't my way of having fun.
Right.
You know what I mean? My way of having fun is making money from other people having fun.
Helping other people.
Yeah, so
it's a difference.
Yeah, so I didn't really frequent a lot of clubs like that to say, oh, that was the spot. That just wasn't me. But just spots that I know that had an impact on the city, the Sound Stage. I don't know if you remember that one.
Soundstage, yeah.
And these places places I did business at as well. You know what I mean? So I had some good memories there.
That's cool, man. Last but not least, I'm in the independent world, you know what I mean? This is what it's all about for me, man. Give me three of the best South Carolina artists that and these ain't gotta be your top 3, just 3 that just come to you like, hey man, I think they just had. We don't want to disrespect nobody, but I know you don't work with a lot of people, you know what I mean? And everybody would say, man, I can't believe Mo didn't mention my name again. But what was like the three, if not the biggest, the 3 most influential artists from let's just say, I don't even want to do South Carolina, I want to do Columbia.
And from Columbia?
Yeah, just
3 influential artists from Columbia.
Yeah, the 3 that you think made the biggest impact, or the 3 that you think was the hardest, you know what I mean? Your Mount Rushmore 3.
Yeah.
Mount Rushmore's 4, but
Yeah, right, 3.
Yeah.
Again, I can't, not in no particular order, but I gotta say, I don't know if you remember Piezo.
Yeah.
Piezo, I feel he was one of those artists that, like, I remember a story with the guy named, Big Paw from Columbia.
Oh, yeah.
That guy, right?
The TV show.
The TV show.
Yeah,
now, he's doing that now, but he was in a group back then called the Woodsman. And he said this story, he specifically, like, bro, when he heard Piezo, he stopped rapping.
Whoa.
Because he was like, yo, I can't compete. You know what I mean? And that's how this guy's impact was.
He was good.
He was like that. So I gotta always, say him. He was one of those artists that really made his mark when he was out from Columbia. Then I got to also say Mr. Yeah, like, he came in the game and he made a real big impact. And to this day, he's still influential. You know, he got offsprings like DZ and some other artists that came under his umbrella. So I would say Mr. And out of Columbia, I mean, his name always come up. Everybody always call his names. I don't. But you got to give him credit. Black Zach.
Right.
He's just been very influential in the music game. His name is synonymous with rap in Columbia.
Right.
You can't overlook him, and I'd be doing a disservice not to call his name. So in my opinion, those are people who have a real huge impact on this Columbia music scene.
And I'd say that was the last question, but when you said that, it made me think to ask, you know what I'm saying, who, man, should have blowed, you know what I'm saying, that you just was wild by, probably been in your studio, you know, did some shows in your clubs or something, and it just didn't work out, but you know what I'm saying, who do you think, you know, was on that verge and it just didn't happen?
And this one is kind of, you know, it's an answer, but we really can't say. And it's R.I.P. 18 Vino.
Okay.
You know, he's somebody that worked in the studio, and I've seen him come in for the first time, and it's like, wow, this guy, he had something. I knew it from the beginning before he got to where he got to. I just saw it in him, and unfortunately, we wasn't able to see his career, you know, play all the way out. But I felt like he should have blown even faster than he was before he left us. But I think Vino was one of those people. PG Raw, you know what I mean? PG Raw is someone that I've seen, you know, people look at him like he's that guy, you know, and I just thought he should have been bigger than he is, you know, now, currently, or whatever. I just think he got that star quality, and he got great music, a great sound. And I just felt like he should have been farther along in his progression. And thirdly, let me see. Thirdly, I would say, like, I'm gonna go back, like Boy YG.
I love Boy YG.
You know what I'm saying? I think he really had a real big impact, and you know, at one point he was the it, you know, in Colombia, and I just don't know what happened where he didn't really just blow. You know, he was different. He's kind of like our Wheezy. That's how I look at him. You know,
he had a good year last year.
Yeah, he's
trying to reinvent himself.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, and I had to say Lil Rude too. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
I love for Lil Rude to reinvent himself.
You know, come out and do it again. You know, I just think he just didn't go as far as he should have.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with that. I love to talk to him. Yeah. But man, I appreciate everything, man. And if you want to do, man, you just take your time, man, and just tell us, you know, anything you got going on, any advice, any social medias you want to shout out, man, and anything you know, any advice or anything you want to say. This is your time to say what you want to say, and man, we're gonna be out after that.
Yeah, man. Well, I appreciate this, man. It was fun, you know, just talking about, you know, getting a chance to talk. You know, we don't have enough platforms here. I think we need more of this, you know what I mean, to get to know the people, you know, beyond the social media, which you see. You know, a lot of us know each other on social media, but that's not the real us, you know what I'm saying? Those are glimpses of our lives. So I appreciate this platform, and I would say that we need more, and you know, those people out there who looking to be involved in the music game, you know, this is one way to do it. Get you some equipment, man, and start interviewing people, because like, you know, it was funny. We saw each other in the club, and you was like, "Man, I'm trying to get you, and I didn't think you know, would even consider my platform." Like, it's the opposite of that. I'm like, man, I'm thankful to be able to tell my story anytime. Anybody who want to listen to it, you know what I'm saying? That's one thing. People who doing things, they want to talk about, you know, how they got there, and you know, probably, you know, give back some advice and just let people see them, you know, in a different light. You know, so I just say that we need more platforms like this. You know, I'm just so happy to see this music game, you know, grow into what it is today. You know, a lot of people didn't think we had no scene here, but we do have a major scene, man. It's an industry here, because it's people like you and yourself and myself. We make a living off of this. This is what we do every day. And there's a lot of people, DJs, managers, artists, producers, videographers, you know, people in the radio. It's like, this is the scene. This is the industry. And don't wait for somebody to put you on. Put yourself on. That's what I always say. If I sat around and waited for somebody to save me, I've never been saved.
Never been saved.
You know? So
they don't save you now.
Yeah, nobody's going to save you. Nobody's going to come and save you. You know, we don't have no heroes. Become the hero. You know, and that's what I wanted to do, man. And just bring something positive to the city. and give people something positive to talk about. We got enough negativity going on,
Right.
and I think that we can do that as a music scene. We can be the leaders because that's what we are. We the leaders right now. These are people. We got people who listening, watching. And that's another thing, man. You got to always move like the cameras are on all the time, man, because people watching. So, we're it's V12 Studios. That's just it. You V12 Studios. You can find us everywhere, all social media platforms. I welcome you if you never had a chance to come to the studio. If you just want to see, if you ain't had a chance to be in a studio before, I welcome you. Just come down and take a tour. We love to welcome you in. And this community made me, so it is my duty to give back as much as I can, man. And too much is given, much is required. So for those people in position to help others, man, do that. It's a requirement, And I just say, keep believing in yourself, keep working hard. It's consistency. You'll never get there by just being, sporadic, and sometimes you want to do it, sometimes you want to do it. You got to do what you don't want to do. You got to do the put the tough work in, and I promise you the results will be there. I'm living proof of that. I had no clue, limited funds, but I believed in myself, and I believed in the higher power, and where I'm at today is a result of that. So if I can do it, I don't have no superpower. I just believe in a higher power. And you too can be great. We all got it in us. So take that step.
And I like the fact that you from Esther, man, because that's one thing. Because I done been down at 321, you know what I mean? I know, Esther, Allendale, Hampton,
right.
all up through there, you know what I mean? Denmark, Norway, Nieces.
All that. Yeah.
They don't want to come to Colombia. It's just like Colombia is just like how Africa is to me. Like, it's just so far, far away. Like, they be down that road, at 321 road. They be down there and they just get where they just, hey, this is our life. We got our own thing. And it's just so much opportunities, up this way for them, you know what I mean? Because a lot of them are talented and stuff, but they just don't want to leave, you know what I mean? They don't want the traffic. They don't want,
It's just comfortability, man.
Right.
They just comfortable there. It's like, even like it's people here who don't leave their side of town. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. And that's just, if you limit yourself, then that's what's going to happen.
Right.
Our motto is there are no limits. So you can't be afraid to go across the bridge, man, or go, go outside your comfort zone, because that's where your success gonna lie. You don't get successful by being comfortable, you know. So that's what I say, man. And I felt like in order to plant your seeds, you got to be in good soil. So sometimes where you at is not where it's at. So you might got to make that trip to go outside your comfort zone,
right?
And do what's not. To take that road less traveled. I burn that highway up, boy. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to it. I don't care where it's at. I jump on a plane.
Yeah.
I mean, I done been to Africa, bro. I done been, South America. Like me, a country boy from a dirt road. My parents never left. They very, very seldom leave their area. My mom like that now. She don't want to leave, go too far out. But, you limiting yourself. Because the world is big. It's bigger than just that group of individuals that in your community.
Right.
It's so big, and I believe that we're just a person away from changing your life, and that's how it is. If I didn't meet a certain person, I won't be in the position I'm in. You know what I'm saying? So you got to have yourself open to making new connections and meeting new people.
Yeah, man. Well, we appreciate you coming out, man. I apologize for this setting. This is our podcast setting. We got a whole building over there that's dedicated to podcasting, recording, doing like little different stuff and everything. Yeah. But I got a lady over there doing taxes. I'm trying to get a little bit of that tax money.
Hustle, baby.
I'm trying to get a little bit of that W-2 money too. So you know what I mean. And
even to your, to say this for you, bro. I respect that, man, and because that's how you win, bro. You got to have your irons in a lot of different fires, man. You just can't limit yourself to just one thing. If you're gonna really be successful, if you want to get rich, you got to have multiple streams of income. So that's what you do, man. You use your space and you make it make sense and make it make dollars, you know?
Right.
So I salute that, bro. You're a hustler for real.
Man, I appreciate that, man. I'm out here trying to stay busy, man. Shoot, I was in the car business 20 years. I sold cars on the river. That's how I know about V12. And then I done been to your studio a couple times. I never recorded, but I've been in there with some other guys that recorded and things like that.
Right.
So, man, I see how you moved and everything like that, even though we never met. But, you know what I mean? You could admire somebody and never meet them, like, you know, Kobe Bryant's everybody's favorite. They never, you know, they probably never been to a ball game, you know what I mean?
Right.
Never went to a Lakers game, man. And so, man, you like somebody that we all can look up to around here, man, and keep going and everything like that, man. So we want to give you your flowers too, man, because what you did for the city, man, it's almost unmatched. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I've seen plenty of people that would have been in. I'm a bondsman. I've been around bonding for a long time. I've seen plenty of people that would have been in jail or dead if they couldn't come, you know, and use your outlet and find something positive to do. So, man, you know, saving lives and get some bread at the same time is all good. I appreciate you, my brother, man.
Thank
no
you for
doubt,
having me,
man. Thank you for coming, man.
Real talk.
Man, it's late night for Sharif, man, and we out.
Peace.
Appreciate you, brother.